Hey guys, so I have another video for you here, and this is going to be how I treat and maintain my candles. And what I mean by that is pretty much how I take care of my candles. And this is going to be a couple hours worth of footage that I'm going to condense into a smaller, more normal size video. But I want to show you the different steps that I do to take care of my candle. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, this candle right here is Bahama Fizz. It is a Slacken & Company candle from Bath & Body Works, and it is brand new. I actually just put up a haul video featuring this candle, so I'll be linking that video down below if you want to go check that out. But yeah, so I decided to use this candle for this demonstration, I guess you could say, because it is brand new to Slacken & Company, and it is also temperamental, is what I've been told. So I figured that this would be a good candle to do my experiment on, or not really experiment, but it would be good to show you. So anyways, this candle, like I said, is brand new. Let me take the top off. I've never lit this before, and as you can see by the wicks, they're pretty long and they're very thin. So usually that's not always a good thing. I kind of like my wicks to be thicker, but you know, we'll see how this goes. So like I said, they're pretty long. So usually what I do in the beginning and throughout burning my candles, if the wicks look too long, you really do want to cut them. So let me show you how I cut the wicks. Okay, to cut the wicks, I used to use a scissor, but I used to find that, you know, the taller candles that I had, you know, it got to be really hard, especially when you're like at an angle, you know. So I actually bought a wick trimmer, and this is what it looks like. Let me move this back. So this is what it looks like right here. It's really nice because there are the handles. So you just, you know, it goes down into the candle and you just cut it like that. And I got this for under $3 online. So that's pretty cool. But let me go ahead and show you how I would trim these wicks. So I'm pretty sure you can see them, and these are pretty long. So I'm actually going to trim them about halfway. So let's see. All right, there's one. There's the second one. And there's the third one. So it's pretty easy. And what I really like about the wick trimmer is you can see, you know, it's a nice round size. It's probably like the size of a US dime. So it's a really nice size, and you can even do this while the candle is lit, which I find it's not super easy, but you can do it because when you clip the wick, you can see that the wick actually stays in the scissor part. So like I'm going to turn this totally upside down and flip it back over, and you can see that the wick is still in there. So this is a pretty neat invention, and considering I got it for $3, I actually recommend this, highly, highly recommend this. All right, so now the wicks are trimmed, and next thing you want to do is obviously light the candle. Now, I used to use like a regular lighter, but I've actually invested in a lighter that looks like this. It's long. Let me move this back. It's a long lighter. You see, it's really, really long, and that just makes it easy when you want to like go down and light the, see, like that. It's so easy because if you have a short one, you know, your fingers touch the flames, or they could touch the flames, and that's dangerous. So I find this to be the easiest way to light my candles. And I actually bought this at Target. It's like, you know, you can pretty much find this anywhere. They come in different brands. You can probably even get it at a drugstore. So let me light the candle. I'm sure most of you know this, but the first time you light the candle, it's going to take a little bit longer to light just because the wicks aren't used to any sort of flame yet. Alright, so as you can see, I just lit it, simple, easy. Now I'm going to let it sit for a while, and I'm going to look at to see what time it is, and I am going to report back to you once the candle has either hit the edges or it's been 2 hours. So I will let you know the status when that happens. So the 2 hours has passed by, and this candle has turned into a total fail. So I guess the rumors were true. This candle does not burn well at all, and I will definitely be taking it back, which I don't like to do, but to be 100% honest with you, this is the worst burning candle from Slacken and Company that you can get at Bath and Body Works that I've ever purchased. I've never seen a candle do this before. This is like the worst. So let me lift it up and show you. You see that? That is like the worst melting pool I've ever seen, and it's been 2 hours. I mean, if I leave it on here any longer, I doubt it's gonna reach the end. You can see it reach the end at the very corner over there, but that's about it. So yeah, I am definitely gonna be taking this back. If you look at the flames, they are not high at all. So this is a very, very slow burn, and this is so bad. Now let's just pretend that this candle was doing really well and that everything was melted except for like this part over there. So you know what I would do? This is where my lighter trick comes in handy. I've heard of people saying that they have a tin foil trick, but I've never tried that. So I don't want to show you guys unless I have experience and have tried it. So maybe I'll update you about that later on. But so this is what I would do. I get the lighter. And like I said, let's pretend this corner over here, I'll turn it around. Let's pretend this little piece over here needed to be like attached because there was just this little piece. I just light the lighter and bring it really far down, and you can see it's melting. You see that? You see the difference? So yeah, I would do it longer and move it around, but I am filming this. So yeah, that is like my trick if there's like a little residue and I want it to like all come together. But yeah, so this is a really bad candle. I have said that so many times now. But anyway, let me show you some examples of a really good burning candle and what I would do and how I would maintain that one. Okay, so here are 2 candles I can give you a great example on. The first one right here is Evergreen. Evergreen. And you can see the wicks are perfect. I never have had to cut these wicks. They have just maintained so beautifully. Like, this would be my ideal burning candle. Like, it's just so great. You don't even really have to do anything to it at all. You can see it's nice and even. There is some residue, but that's not like the residue I was talking about. So this has just been an overall great, great, great candle to burn. And then let's just pretend like this Bahama Fizz back there was doing good, and I don't blow my candles out. I put the top on while it's lit, and then the smoke stays in the candle. So, you know, you're supposed to do that. It's better for the candle, and also your house doesn't start smelling like smoke. But anyway, so what I was going to show you is how you would trim the wicks. So here is black pepper bergamot, and I've burned this a couple times, and you can tell by the residue it has. All right, so you can see the wicks, you know how they're a little distorted, so it's so easy. You just take the wick trimmer, cut it like that, perfect wick. So yeah, you want to do that, like I said, in between burns and also before you start burning if your wicks are too long or if they've become spread apart and sparse. So that's the end of this video. I hope you got a good idea on how I like to maintain my candles and how I work with them, and you know what I do to keep my candles nice and everything. And like I said, don't be afraid to return candles that aren't burning well. I know in the beginning I was kind of like, oh, you know, I'm returning a candle, but the people in Bath and Body Works, they don't even question you, you know. I mean, they can tell that this candle burns bad. And I mean, you have to think of it like this. If it burns bad for you, it's going to be burning bad for others as well. So that's about it. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them down below and I will be happy to answer them for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.